Well, welcome to United Matters channel. It has been a while. Ruben Amorim has gone ahead and obviously defended Marcus Rashford and Casemiro. And how did this come to pass? I'm really going to be breaking it down to your knowledge, if at all you haven't gone ahead, obviously be brought to speed as far as this matter is really concerned. So much like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on the stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rock and David is my name. I hope you guys are really having fun wherever you are. So as it stands, Ruben Amorim has come out and defended Marcus Rashford and Casemiro. Now, Manchester United saw its players have a 5-day break, and Casemiro, Rashford fled to the US. When they fled to the US, they obviously found themselves in a position of really being criticized by the ex-players of Manchester United. And one of those players that came and obviously addressed the issue was Paul Scholes. He said, Rashford is not having a great start to the season either. We are 14th in the Premier League, in big trouble. I don't think any of us would have been seen in the States in that kind of situation. So that is what Paul Scholes really had to say. Now, Gary Neville, another United legend, came out and said it. Is it really serious when you have 4 days free, talking about Marcus Rashford and Casemiro, to do 12 hours of flight and suffer 8 hours of jet lag when the results are bad and a new coach has arrived? That was his question. He added on and said, is this something that's acceptable in today's football? It's been 15 years since I left professional football. If one of my teammates had done that, I would have thought, does he know we have a game to play? So these two people have come up and obviously put in a very huge goal at Marcus Rashford. And I really understand why they're really doing that, because it's really one of those moments that you test the mentality of your players, because their huge question is, does it really add up for these people to obviously come up and obviously travel, travel to the States when you're really having a new manager? Because that's the most important bit of it all. Because for a player who is in a team and new manager is going to obviously show up, you obviously have to really keep around. His problem is not them going for holiday, but why is it that amongst all places they've gone ahead to choose the US? Because US, you have to travel for 8 hours, and when you return 8 hours, and that is jet lag, you understand? So I think Gary Neville and Paul Scholes really have a point when you look at these two players, because they would have gone ahead obviously go at least near and obviously return, spend the 4 days there and return on time. And I think they're really telling us the right thing. It's really one of the things that really best describes the mentality that Sir Alex Ferguson had put in those players of Manchester United to obviously come up and obviously win games. And some people might obviously undermine this, but it's really one of the most important bit of it all, that you have to obviously come up and obviously put in a required shift altogether. Sometimes it's not all about the manager, the way the player handles himself, and this is where mentality kicks in. And this is why we ask ourselves, the mentality of these players of Manchester United, it's really in question. And the most worrying bit of it all, these players are really professional, and they're the most experienced side at Manchester United. Rashford, what makes him the most experienced player at the club of Manchester United? No player amongst those available in the squad of Manchester United has gone ahead to play more games than Marcus Rashford. He has played close to 230 games for the club of Manchester United. No player matches that. You understand? Then for Casemiro, he is the most experienced player and hugest winner, most coloured footballer at the club of Manchester United when it comes to club football. I think he has like 4 Champions League trophies as a player in his name, and there is no way obviously come up and obviously undermine such a player. He has league titles, and at a certain point before really deteriorating, he was one of the best CDMs in the world before Rodri really came to the rise. So when you look at everything that is being said about these people, I tell you what, there is something to talk about. There is something to discuss. I tell you, we have a point to raise. We have a point to discuss in here onto the United Matters channel, because I understand that they are given the days, as Ruben Amorim has come out and really defended them. But was what they did right. You know, they need to obviously charge up their bodies to full steam and see to it that they really get ready for the manager. And I tell you what, if on Sunday one of those doesn't have a good game, it's really gonna be a talking point. It's really gonna be a huge talking point. You know, Gary Neville says and Paul Scholes that in their yesteryears at Manchester United, they wouldn't obviously do that. You get mentality. Now, tell me any player of a team that is really competing for the league that went further side. You know, they didn't. They stayed. So, I think Gary Neville and Paul Scholes have a point to raise. These are things that have gonna hit to fail us, meaning that they were there playing and they're like, all right, we are gonna go for a break. Let's go that side. You understand? Their hearts were in the US. You understand? Because I think they had been given a communication earlier that you're really gonna be getting a break. And these are the kind of players that are really gonna come on the field of play on Sunday and not put their body onto the line. So I think Gary Neville is really right. But Ruben Amorim has come out and obviously had something to say about the trip of these players. And this is what he had to say today in the press conference. He said Manchester United told them they have 5 days off so they can fly anywhere because nobody in the club says you cannot fly. Now, I understand what Ruben Amorim is saying and he's trying to defend his players. And in the due course of defending his players, he is really doing his level best to obviously create harmony. I understand he never wanted to create cracks, you know, at the beginning of... He never wanted to obviously create cracks at the beginning of his career at Manchester United as a manager. You understand? He never wanted to create them at the beginning. And so doing, he has gone ahead obviously putting the required shift all together. And I tell you what, he's really getting himself a huge welcome with the players. And there is something he said in the other interview that he really released that I'm really going to defend my players as I can, you know. And this is what he's doing because I know he's going to advise them. And he's going to be like, guys, the season is still bad. I think if such chances show up, let's not obviously go that side. Let's obviously have a holiday nearby and do the needful. And lucky enough, there is no international break, you know, for players playing in South America, Europe, Asia, and so on and so forth until March next year, you know. For those playing in Africa, it's really going to be African Cup of Nations in January. You know that very well. Meaning that Andre Onana, Amadi Diallo will leave, you know, for their respective nations. So, I think they won't do this again. And we hopefully think Rashford and Casemiro would have gone ahead, obviously, match the levels or requests from the national team coaches to obviously get themselves back. So, I think Ruben Amorim is doing what he's supposed to do. Come to the media, defend your players, but castigate them when you're really off the camera. I think that is the best thing to do for Ruben Amorim. And I never expected him to obviously come up and obviously say they did something bad, though he also knows at the back of the mind that what they did is not really good. And if these people are really the players that others are really looking at, that they should be exemplary, then we are in trouble. United is in trouble if at all players are really acting like that. But I would like to hear Ruben Amorim for what he was going to hit to do, because that's what he do. Defend your player in public and then go all out at the player when the cameras are not here. Then Chris Wheeler has had something to say about the strictness and the disciplinary codes at the club of Manchester United. It is said in meetings this week, the players have been warned about their lifestyles away from the pitch and what is expected of them as professionals. The feeling is that Amorim will be just as tough as Erik ten Hag, albeit with a more charming approach. Now, this tells you what I'm going to let you know, that the manager of Manchester United, that is Ruben Amorim, is really trying to protect the players, but at the back of the door, he's like telling them what you did is bad. And he has gone ahead, obviously, warn them about their lifestyles like what Rashford and Casemiro did, flying to the US, when you note it that we are really going to be training huge and hard, how do you recharge? You get? Was that the best recovery that they would obviously choose out of the many places that are really near? That is a huge question. Did they go there for business? I don't think so. But all in all, they've gone ahead, obviously, tell us that he's really going to be tough as Eric Ten Hag. And he's like, you should watch what you do. Then, communication is arguably Amorim's greatest strength. And at a team meeting after training at Carrington on Thursday, he was able to converse freely with players in Portuguese, English, and Spanish. Now, this makes him a very good manager because he's really linguistic, you know. He can speak English, Portuguese, and Spanish, meaning that he can obviously speak to most of the players at Manchester United. Rashford, Kobe Mainoo, Andre Onana, all those English-speaking players can really attend them too. Now, Casemiro, Bruno, Garnacho, who else? Those speak Portuguese and Spanish. He can really attend them. So I think he's really trying to balance up the two. And for Andre Onana, he was it in Spain a little bit when he was still young before he crossed to Ajax. Obviously, he's really one of those that you have to obviously have a look at and obviously understand that he's really going to come up and obviously put in the required shift altogether. Now, that is the man himself known as Ruben Amorim. And for that, I call upon for your reactions into the comment section below about Amorim defending Rashford and Casemiro from Scholes and Gary Neville attacks. What are your thoughts about it? Do you think Rashford went ahead to do the right thing? All that and more into the comment section below. I think I'm going to be returning with a live stream later to obviously have a say and a chat with you, my boys. Bye-bye.